The breeze is stupendous. I want to dance. Let me show you how.
Screw me, duck, got one of my rooms all flooded with gold. I done bought 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carat in stones.
어떻게 보면 자 이번엔
저 궁금해요. 클럽셉스키?
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're doing well. Hope you're too blessed to be stressed. I'm Jacob. Welcome back into Jacob Wallraven Uncensored. If this is your first time, I doubt it, but if it is, welcome. You don't have to subscribe or like the video. I would encourage you to do so because it's free, helps the channel grow. But do what you want because I got me a beautiful signing moment in life that I've prayed for, tried to manifest with all my might. You know, I was looking for the actual stream where I was on with Ashmatic, and I was complaining about Mohamed Kudus, and that we spent X amount on Brennan Johnson, and I found the stream from before we signed Brennan Johnson. Then I found the stream that apparently was after the one that I'm thinking. So somewhere in the middle is that stream. I'll find the clip. But I'm very pleased. Mohamed Kudus officially signed, not officially signed, actually. I shouldn't say that. That's going to jinx it. Knock on wood. Hang on. Who's there? There we go. Found the wood. And we got the official here we go from Fabrizio Scromano. Fabrizio Fablano. Actually, you know what? He sent me the video. So let me just go ahead. Fabrizio, what do we got?
El Satora, here we go. Or should I say, twist my names. Fabrizio Romano here with some exclusive news. Your deadline.
No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Is this one?
Here we go. The new Magnum sandwich to noon minutes. The deal is finally done.
The deal is finally done. No, but it is this one. Here you go. Blam, blam, glam. There you go. Wait, that's not it. That's a West Ham fan named Chris Mills saying, all we asked was anyone but them. Hang on, let me zoom that in so y'all can see. He called us to see you next Tuesday. Then he at some people said, get the fuck out of our club. Kudus the Judas. But this is the tweet. Fabrizio Romano. Mohamed Kudus to Tottenham, here we go. Deal in place, £55 million. Now, we did have a bid rejected earlier this week, 50 mil. They said it wasn't enough. Our incentives, our bonuses, they felt like we would never attain, which I don't understand why they think we wouldn't, because, you know, they always said, you know, really, from the ownership standpoint, they said, we want to win the Premier League. We want to win the Champions League. And what better way to do that than signing yourself for what I'm going to say is one hell of a signing, fantastic signing, and shows of intent because of the timing. I quickly jumped on just for a brief moment or two on the football terrace there. Jordan was there. George from DuragDiaries was there. And I told him that the timing of this really felt like that was intentional because we haven't started preseason. We barely, players yesterday just got to the training ground. So, you know, I'm pretty excited because if you remember, Van de Veen was a couple days before the season started, I think 3 or 4. And then Brennan Johnson was a key signing for our manager. And we signed him, I think we played 2 or 3 games by the time we signed him. So it is what it is. But you know what I got to say is I'm actually very excited for this because for me, you know, Michael, who I started the channel with, we've been texting and stuff all week talking about Kudus. And, you know, I sent him the photos today. There's some cool photos going around of him in the black kit. And honestly, He's like, I know how long you've wanted this, Jacob, and I'm very happy for you. I said, you know what? If they wanted a way to reel me back in, what is it when they, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Yeah. I was going to say Sopranos, but I know that it's Sopranos quoting The Godfather. So I'm doing an impression of Syl from The Sopranos. I'm not doing The Godfather, but just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. And I'll be honest, I can't wait till we all get to see Muhammad Kudus wear the lily white. Even though the home shirt's not my favorite, the away kit I'm looking, it'll be more. But a few things, and I've got a guest in the back already. And when I say guest, I mean that kind of just seems like the worst title I could give this person. But you know, fuck it, he is a guest at the end of the day. Even though
I said we struggle to get it up.
We do, but he does not. So let me bring him in before I play any more stupid clips. You know what? I might have one more clip for you. No, did I play it during the intro? I don't know. Maybe I did. So I'll play this one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit. We've got Elijah in the house. How you doing, buddy? I said guest, but it doesn't really feel right saying guest. How are you doing, first of all? And second of all, how you doing?
I'm tired and I'm tired. Very tired. But we here. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, Jacob?
I woke up thinking I might have to go to the hospital because my ear's not healing as fast as I would like it to. And that maybe I needed some intravenous IV or intravenous, not probiotics, antibiotics. At least that's what my doctor recommended. Said I should go if it doesn't heal up in 10 days. And this is day 11, and it didn't feel better today than it did yesterday. Felt more or less the same. So I woke up thinking I was going to go to the hospital. And then the next thing I did was check my phone a little bit later on, and I saw Fabrizio Romano saying, here we go, Muhammad Kudus, it's happening. And there was really only one thing I could think of at that moment.
Just put that to one side. How are you feeling? I'm feeling a bit shitty. Yeah, good. Like and subscribe. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
But I know that I'm through the moon. It's to me, it's like I've been praying on that baddie to just come through the crib one time. Just let me eat you one time, you know? And we got one. I can't remember the last time maybe when we signed Basuma was the last time I was this excited for a signing that I'd been asking for. Van de Ven as well. I was very excited. That's one I'd asked for, but didn't really see much on a Premier League standpoint from him. But with a Premier League player that we sign, probably the last one was Basuma, and before that, when we loaned Gareth Bale, but that wasn't technically like from the Premier League. I don't know. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about Muhammad Kudus? The official, here we go. Not official, but just officially here we go.
I guess pretty much official at this point, isn't it? But I don't know, I'm cool with it. I'm glad that Levy was able to negotiate the price down a bit, because I wasn't very happy with the pricing. But you know, 55 mil is, in my opinion, still a bit too much. But when it's West Ham, you're gonna have to pay a Tottenham tax. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to put too much blame on Levy for that. The fact he even got it to 55 M's, I have to give him credit for that, to get a player like Kudus from West Ham specifically, and only have to pay like 10, 15 million extra because it's West Ham. You know what? Fair play to Levy for getting it done. Let's see what we can cook in it. Let's see what happens. I'm excited just to see what he can do in it, because I've heard from everyone. I've seen the pie charts, I've seen the data sheets, I've seen the stats, and it's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck you man are talking about. I just want to see him on the pitch and see what he can do. So I'm glad we just got someone through the door in it, because it would have been Tyler Dibbling if it wasn't Kudus. So at this point, I'm just more relieved we're not getting Dibbling.
Well, you mentioned pie charts, and then I got hungry, and then I remembered I had a bookmark of a pie chart. So here's some fun data for you that is not, you said, this is what I want. I don't want this. And I said, well, here, let me provide you with something that you said you did not want, Elijah. And that is a graph of some sort with numbers and stuff. And that's fun.
Great,
we can look at it. Yeah, it's great, huh? A little segue. So this from Data MB says only Lamine Yamal won more offensive duels than Mohamed Kudus in the top 7 leagues this season. Lamine Yamal with 291, Mohamed Kudus with 261. 95th percentile for successful dribbles. So basically, they're like computing all this data versus other players in his same position around the top 7 leagues. And in the 95th percentile is basically like really, really good. You know, it's five away from being the best, being number 1. So like Lamine Yamal will be in the 100th percentile for offensive duels, but successful dribbles, 95th percentile. I think that just solidifies my overall feeling of like when I watch him, which is, I'm going to, kind of dabble in what you were saying. So I've watched him before West Ham, and I wanted him at Tottenham before he went to West Ham. I kind of started the show by saying how Ash Maddock and I had some great dialogue about that about 2 years ago. And, I keep just like feeling it. I'm playing FIFA or something. You know what I mean? Because Kudus is a signing I make in FIFA every season that I play. So it's when I watch him at Ajax and when I watched him with the moderate sample size, you could say, at West Ham, because he did slap a few players and get suspended for a good chunk of change. But I think that you take all the context away of like West Ham and who he's playing with, and they're sacking their manager and blah, 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 blah. You take all that away, and what I see is a player who plays fearless with the ball at his feet, who's willing to go at players, through players, around several players. And then obviously there was that clip that they've been circling around, all them salty West Ham fans, which I do want to take a look at some of the salty content that I've seen on the timeline today, because it's quite funny. It almost makes this feel better as well, because the 15 minutes after the Kudus thing, they're like, oh yeah, and Arsenal, they're gonna they put in a bid for Madueke, 50 million. So they're about to spend the same amount of money on Madueke.
Insanity, bro. But that's Arsenal being Arsenal. So Mandem will never catch you praise on Arsenal like that. I don't care how good their team is, in quotation marks.
Real quick, I have a phone call. I need to mute myself real quick. But I do. Let me just ask you a question, if you don't mind, just running for a second.
Yeah. Well, I can just look at.
You don't like this pie chart?
I'll just go to the chat and chilling, bro. Let me go to the chat. How's everyone doing in the chat, man? You know what I'm saying? Hope everyone's had a very, very good day. I am very tired. Plus, you know what I'm saying, I had to get a little bit of this down my system. So I don't know. Let's see what going in it. We'll see what's happening. Salute to everybody in the chat, fam. Billy, Kate. I'm assuming that's Kate. 55 isn't too much. I swear that's pretty much what I said. Props to Lee for getting the price down. Sorry, I'm just going through the chat and it's saying what's up to the chat.
Big up Kate, Billy, Bry.
Indiana Stones. Oh, yeah, you're doing it anyway. Calm.
Is this where you're at?
No, I was just the most recent ones, to be fair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I'm pretty far behind. I haven't scrolled down. I saw Lange was the one who did this, and I've been slandering him pretty profusely. So is that a cup of shut up, Jacob?
Nah, even a broken clock is right twice a day. He's a fraud.
Hey, come on. React to the Lange and Frank interview. Hey, Jimbo, in bed. Hey, you know what else is great about joining United Spurs of America, or Jacob Wallraven Uncensored? You know, branding. I'm gonna get sued. Is that Kate and Jimbo watch this show from the bed? They're in bed and they watch the show, so it's a nice feeling knowing that people are in bed and they're watching the show.
I hope that's what
let me ask you this, because Giddy Haps reminded me of a point that I was trying to make that I got distracted by that phone call. It says Kudus will improve our attackers. I think that, number one, he comes in and he's immediately our best attacker. Do you agree with that or no?
Yeah.
So you think 55 is too much. However, He comes in and he's our best forward. Does that mean that we are shit, or that's just too expensive?
What do you mean by we are shit? As in, like, football-wise?
Because how shit do you have to be if a guy that you don't think is worth the price of a Brennan Johnson comes in and is better than all of our attacking line?
But that's why I asked, like, shit as in, like, how we spend, because that's more of a way we spend issue rather than the players issue, because, like, the players, it's not that they didn't want to come Spurs, I'm not saying that, but, like, if we, like, spent correctly, or we spent better than what we do, then some of these players wouldn't be at the club. Like, Solanke and Brennan and Richarlison wouldn't be at the club if we spent better as a club. At least in my opinion, anyway. At least in my opinion. But yeah, he's definitely our best attacker, 100%.
I also think that this was a point that was brought up on the Football Terrace, which was, I think it was before I got there, that if Arsenal are bidding 50 million for Madueke, does that kind of mean that the market, he had posed the question, like, does that mean the market is now dictated by these average players? That's the kind of player you can expect to get for that kind of price tag. And it made me think about Richarlison and Brennan Johnson first and foremost, because those are two names of players that no one wants for us to start on our front line game week 1. And we spent 60 on Richie in a World Cup year. And then we spent 55 on Brennan Johnson in a Euros year. Yeah.
Which,
so
I hear that. I think it's just Prem. For Madueke, it's England tax and Prem tax. So, like, there's, in my opinion anyway, there's a Premier League tax and then there's an English tax. So if you're English and in the Prem, that's like 2 extra bits of tax on top, which is why I feel like players like Grealish and Rice, and now Madueke, if he goes for 50, cost as much as they do, because I feel like it's both sets of tax on top of each other. I think for Richie, even if you take away the Prem tax, we overpaid. For Brennan, I think it's the same thing. Even with the Prem tax, we overpaid. But I can understand why they cost as much as they did in the moment, because Richarlison was good at Everton. It's not like he was bad. He was a good striker, but it's just the Prem tax on top of that, and plus World Cup year, so he was obviously playing for Brazil. So it seemed like a justified amount of money at the time. It's just obviously the injuries and the way his career's gone. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to outside of the Premier League, it's not as inflated as people want to make it seem. Like, players that are top quality will go for less money.
I mean, anyway. I do agree with that last part, especially because even most recently, I think of Jeremy Frimpong, 30-some million. That's cheap as hell for the quality of player they're getting for that. Obviously, Florian Wirtz kind of doesn't accentuate that point, but I do agree with the sense of, like, you buy from these other leagues, but it's also you're, like, buying more of a gamble, right? Like, when you buy Basuma for 30-some mil, you know more or less what you're going to be getting. I don't think we've seen that version of Basuma but a handful of games since we've signed him. And, you know, thankfully, 3 of them were in the European charge, you know, for this beautiful thing right here behind me. In case you didn't know, behind me, I keep that big Bertha behind me. You already know. J-Mac, big up everybody in the chat. I am trying to not interrupt Elijah and be a good host, because I was going through old videos on the channel trying to find when Ash was like, Jacob, you need to get over it. And I remember he said it kind of sternly, where I was like, damn, I guess I really do got to get over it. Like, Ash is talking to me stern.
The trophy?
You know what I mean? No, the Kudus going to West Ham.
Oh, okay,
because I remember just bitching a bunch about Brennan Johnson being 55 mil. West Ham had signed Kudus. I think it turned out in pounds it was like 37 or 34, something like that.
Yeah,
it was very cheap. And I was just like, I didn't know Ajax. And funnily enough, I think actually I sent him the clip, so I should be able to actually just pull up, make it easier to just show. But he had just scored a hat trick, I think, for Ajax in whatever game they were playing in. And I was like, see, that's the guy we need to go get.
Yeah.
And we did not.
Just fair enough.
Honestly, I'm going to digress, but I'm going to put my damn foot in the mud, because I'm tired of seeing players I didn't know were for sale for the cheap, going off to these Premier League clubs for the cheapity cheap. I'm looking at Moussa Diaby. Why didn't we not go in for him? And then we got Kulusevski instead. Another player that is rumored to go to West Ham. Mohamed Kudus. This is a player. I didn't know he was for sale on the cheapity like that. I didn't know Ajax valued him so low. I would. So
You look so
I think
young
this actually
without
like
the stash.
Yeah, bro. I look
so young. Like you look like my age.
I'm baby faced. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I don't
Yeah.
like it when I got that thing.
Looks so different.
I like to keep the stash so that way people know. You know, hey, I'm a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying?
You look like you almost look like a completely different person.
You know what's crazy is whenever my hair was really long, I'm like, wow, it's a little long. Like I should have cut that. I didn't realize how long it was, and I feel like I kind of look like a different person too. Whenever I look at some of that old stuff, but so that was the first clip of me complaining to Ash, and I think it was a reoccurring theme when him and I were on a stream together. Is I would bitch about Kudus, Diaby, Johan Bakayoko. I think Burnley had put in a bid for them for about 20 mil the year they got promoted. And I was like, why aren't we doing that? If he says yes to Burnley, he didn't say yes to Burnley, but I was like, if he says yes to Burnley, he's surely going to say yes to us, say yes to West Ham. You say yes to Aston Villa. You say yes to Tottenham. Like, no doubt.
That's what I want for the club, innit? Like those types of signings. Cause like and obviously that is the whole, you want to be like Brighton and Bournemouth, and it's like, because not only can we snipe their players off them because we're a bigger club, we can almost allow them to do the business for us. Like we can literally be the culture vultures, innit? Like how Real Madrid be doing everyone, we can do Brighton and Bournemouth like that too. Like because we're like, I guess if you want to do the bigger club thing, but I think players would rather come to Tottenham than go to a Brighton necessarily. So even if our scouting isn't the best, we should really just be looking at teams that are known for developing good players, and look at the players or the styles or the types of players they're interested in. And if it fits what Tottenham wants to do, we can just snipe them, bro. Like I know we love talking about how we're not big six and all of this stuff, and we're not a top club and all this, and I understand that. But at the same time, we're not a little club. Like we do need to have some positivity on Tottenham as a club for once. Like we can snipe the players from Bournemouth and Brighton. We can hijack transfers. Like we can do that, which is why I want to like go down that route. Because as you were saying 2 years ago, we could have signed it for 40 mil. You know what I'm saying? We could have signed it because whatever West Ham paid, we could have paid. Bakayoko, you know what I'm saying? The right winger,
Diaby went for 45.
Yeah, and then he was playing decently well at Villa, and then he went to Saudi for the bread. But
yeah, I mean that was. I felt like we dodged a bullet there, but that was just an example of one of those players. I'm like, they're out there. You can definitely get them, and it's not gonna even working on the confines of Tottenham's wage structure. Like it's not even that crazy of a deal to try and pull off. What is this photo? That's little as fuck. It doesn't. Oh, out of 2,793 minutes down here at the bottom. Then the 90th percentile for accurate crosses. So Dominic Solanke, we might see some headed goals from Dominic Solanke, which was part of the sell, I was told. He's one of the best headers of the ball in the league because
How often does he cross? Is the question. Does he cross a lot? I don't think it says how many times he crosses.
Does it say? No. Because that's contextual evidence that you would maybe try to, if it's you hit the minimum threshold, right? If it's like you got to do 100 crosses or something. He's like, I'm in the 90th percentile with 101.
Yeah.
So
the only reason I ask is because whenever I watch Kudus, like he loves to cut in. So it's a question of like, what counts as a cross? Is it like a cutback, or is it's just what counts as a cross and how many happens? Because he loves cutting in, which I don't mind, but. If we start with Tell, Kudus, and Solanke, be prepared for Solanke to not have no goals in it again, because Tell loves to cut in and shoot, and Kudus likes to cut in and shoot as well. So if we ain't got no creators on the wing, Solanke ain't scoring.
Well, yeah, apparently his crosses are accurate per this thing. For what that's worth, I kind of agree with you because I'm like I can't remember when he was like plopping them things out there for Mikel Antonio like that. I don't truly recall, but I do got another question to ask. If you could encapsulate your feelings when this becomes official, Are you feeling something like
You
this?
ain't really fuck with me way back then, girl. How about now? Cause I'm up right now. And you up right now. Oh, yeah. How about now? Cause I'm up right now.
Yeah.
She can sing, bro. Oh, I love that clip. She can
You know
sing.
she's in the church choir. You know she's in the
she
church
can
choir.
sing. That's such a great clip. Oh my goodness, she can sing.
She's just like
That clip
flexed
makes
on
me
it
feel instantly happier because
yeah. Maybe this one will too.
Damn, I'm on my Britney shit. Oops, I hit again. Damn, I'm on my DJ Khaled shit. We the best. Damn, we rolling hella deep. I feel like Adele.
I feel like Adele was the main.
Can't support that guy. That guy is so shit, bro. Oh,
you don't feel like Adele?
He's so shit, bro. It's the most generic name.
Bad.
What's his name? Ian, bro. It's the most generic name.
Ian.
Most generic.
I have a friend who's
shit.
white as fuck, and his name is Ian.
I can't. He's so shit, bro. He's so shit.
That was.
Oh my god.
My brother, one of my older brothers, recently discovered, like, you know, hey, maybe this hip hop stuff is cool because he likes certain people like Paris, Texas, Kendrick Lamar, that kind of shit, and so we'll be sending, you know, different tracks and stuff back and forth. And I was just like, bro, the new XXL freshman freestyle goes hard, bro. Have you heard it? He's like, what? No, what is that? And I was like, got you. Ooh, I'm on my Britney shit. I just shit again. That's so stupid.
Him off hip hop, bro. This type of shit, man. 30K likes and 27K dislikes. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Well, anyway, big up Steven. Big up everybody in the chat. Sorry, I'm falling way behind in the chat. Obviously, I don't have guests all the time, so I'm just enjoying myself. Kudus is prime bread and butter, says Leo.
Salute.
Are we talking about glurk on the floor? Or are we talking about that actual bread and butter? I'm gonna hope it was some bread and not the glursh on the floor. There's a clip I had. It said something about biscuits.
Oh, I was waiting for the clip.
I know. I could tell you were pausing because I was like, I failed. I didn't because I tried to upload it and it was like, oh, you have the maximum amount of media you can upload.
Oh, you know that
cool.
COD shit. Mission failed. We'll get him next time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Right now.
There was also those links while I try to upload these goofy videos. Who's this? Oh, here's a West Ham tears. It says Kudus to Spurs. It hurts. Properly hurts.
Why do West Ham like this has to be a question for like match going fans, I guess, because like Mike swears that like Tottenham fans love like gyrating West Ham fans, and it's like, bro.
I think it's because it's the one rival we can big bro.
No, but we can big bro like Brentford and them, man. But we ain't got no problem with Brentford. We ain't got no problem with Palace.
Yeah, but Brentford ain't been up as long as West Ham would be, from my viewpoint. As a,
I hear it,
American.
but I'm genuinely don't know either, because it's like, I mean, even Palace have been in the league for like years and years at this point, and it's like
there's not like a weird beef there, except they make us enter through the janitor's closet.
Yeah, it's like West Ham fans, because I've never heard of Tottenham fans online or at the stadium or just talking to Tottenham fans have any problem with West Ham. So like to hear so many West Ham fans label us as their biggest rivals, it's like I can't help but feel like it's unrequited love. Like it has to be, bro. Like it has to be the jealous ex who broke up with you but is mad that you got a better relationship now. Like it has to be that, because like who cares about West Ham? I'm sorry, like we don't care about your club, bro. I ain't gonna lie, we don't care. And like, you man don't mind selling to Arsenal. You sold your actual best player and captain to Arsenal. So it's not a North London thing. So what really is the fucking issue here? I don't understand what the issue is at all. You sold. I
don't know either. But
right.
that's a good point you bring up, because they're very upset that it's Tottenham. There was a tweet that I pulled up. It showed like anyone but them. Fuck these people. Get out of my club. This one says we've sold arguably our best player. I would say Bowen or Kudus would be the two best players on West Ham for me. I liked Somerville as well, and they signed Somerville. Hey, look, we got someone over there on the kick. Big up Marie Smith. _50 says, hey ya, how you
on
doing?
Kick now?
Yeah, I'm on Kick, just in case I get kicked off the YouTube for saying some outlandish shit sometime, which I might do. I might do it right now. I don't know. I won't.
I mean, I'll have to start watching your stream so I can guide you on how to approach stuff then at that point. But
okay.
Yeah.
But did they say they seem to okay? So I was like, who's live right now? Who's live that I could go look at and so I was looking. I was like, yeah, Sava's on with some Chernobyl away fuck. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch that. And then I was like, let me just go to the homepage live, like see who is live there. And it's like channels you're not subscribed to, and I see like 3 different West Ham channels. I was like, oh wow, there's 3 different West Ham channels. First of all, 3 West Ham channels. I didn't know there was that many. And so then there was a guy that I was like, oh, I've seen this fool on Football Terrace. So I'd go there. And like, I went in, there was like 300 people watching. And then it was like 600 people. And I was looking at the chat, and there's a lot, like Tottenham Ranger was in there. I was in there. Phil Coys was in there.
So it's just Tottenham fans, just them.
Bro,
like,
they were in there cooking this motherfucker. Like, bro, they were so salty. Actually, bro, maybe we should look at that because that shit was funny, dog. This guy's like, I'm not salty. You can't tell me I'm salty. Just wait. He's going to be so bad. It was hilarious. The fact that I was seeing so many familiar faces was the most hilarious part to me. It was like,
it's literally just Tottenham fans in there. I was wondering, like, there's 600 West Ham fans. All
West Ham have reportedly.
This one.
Oh gosh.
Oh, live chat replay.
They disabled.
No. What a
bitch. They disabled
bit.
it because they're getting cooked.
Bro, that was the fun. I was like the part I wanted to look at the most. I was like, let me zoom in so you can make sure you read
comment?
the chat.
You just do a normal comment. Enable the live chat, bro. Stop being fuzzy, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got a comment, bro. Just tell her to enable the look at leave me out.
Enable comments or enable live
chat.
Say
live chat. Yeah, say live chat. Man said Ross in the bottom, so it sounds like the bloke on the left is gonna cry.
Bro, he was so upset, dog.
Hey, nah.
Yeah, let's look through some of these comments. He says, thank you, little bros. Pleasure doing business with you. See you again in a few years when you have another player worth taking off you.
Hey, nah, this is a bio. Oh my god.
The salty tea. Bro, they kept being like, you could keep saying I'm salty.
That's your rifles are late already. Hey, where's Millwall?
Sounds like the bloke on the left. Yeah, he's definitely looked like he's gonna cry. Cheer up, you guys. Sign Barclays. Kudus will be playing under Frank. He will thrive. Under Frank. A little Ayo, but I think it falls in line with the Tommy 2-touch.
Oh my goodness.
Or 3-touch.
It's only Tottenham fans, bro.
It's all Tottenham fans. I don't care to see. Here's one. But watching West Ham. Oh, no, that's what. Nope. Mike Law, no.
It's just Tottenham.
Dude, let it go. Been a Spurs fan for over 20 years. West Ham was never on my radar. Bro.
That's what I'm saying. These men hate us, yeah. And it's like, oh, there you are. I thought you commented earlier. Fairs. Oh my! This is
agreed a 50.
I don't really want him sold to them. I don't really care where he goes, but I just think this just shows what sort of a bad situation we as a club are in. That we have to, you know, we haven't got no choice. You know, our whole transfer summer is dependent on him going to Tottenham. So yeah, it is. Mohamed Judas is going from now on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into some other details that X has put out since then. But the thing is, I've kind of made my peace with him going there. But it's also the fact that they've got.
He says that.
This is just.
This was one thing that they said on there that I kept commenting. I was like, please acknowledge this, but he didn't, because I tuned in, and one of the first things they were doing was after 20-ish minutes or so. So they were saying how they've never gotten into the Champions League. They've never played in it. they probably never will by the way that they're going and blah, blah, blah. And then 7 minutes later, they're like, Spurs are so embarrassing. Tottenham are so embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what's more embarrassing? The fact that you just bowing down to never playing in the Champions League and you've never played in the Champions League, or us saying you're salty? Like, that's embarrassing. They're going through it. I feel for them.
We done a show the other day and we talked about this apparent Tottenham tax we was going to put on him. We was going to put a Tottenham tax and charge them. I mean,
this looks like a before and after Kudus signs for Spurs.
30 million less than the fact that we've folded like this. It just shows you how unfortunate.
Dude, he's so upset. The fact that we folded like this, like we fucking were wrestling or something, and we pinned him. We got him.
That we've got a £40 million short-term loan we took out last summer that we have to pay back this summer, which seems to sort of preempt this news. It's very, very key time in that, isn't it? You put out how desperately we need to pay back £40 million to Barclays this summer. Then later on, boom, £55 million deal agreed. So we're supposed to go, oh, well, we had to because we've got to pay Barclays 45 million. Hands are tied. Bollocks, man. It's absolute bollocks.
Yeah, it's.
He said he's over it, or he's like at peace with it, but then he's like bollocks.
For fuck all. Hoping today that someone else was going to come in and didn't, but there we go. Look, listen, I meant it when I said it. Like, in terms of his performances, he's better off out the door. Yeah, don't make no bones about it. He's better off out the door. There is no point in keeping a player like him about. He might be worth £55 million now, yeah, and we was all talking about 85 million and all that, but he ain't going to be a £55 million player next summer if we kept him for another year, because his performance is like. And I'm going to say this now: he's going to do exactly the same at Tottenham. He's 24 years old. He's going to go there. He's going to play Champions League football for a year. He's going to play out of his skin. When they don't get it next year, he'll start kicking off. He'll end up, and I said this earlier, he'll end up at Inter Milan or something like that. But in terms of selling,
that's one thing I was nervous about with Kudus. To be fair, that's one thing I was nervous about because I asked George like when I was on a stream with him a few days ago, and it's like, he was basically excusing Kudus's performances last season because he was at West Ham and he wasn't in Europe and he was upset and he didn't want to be there. So I asked him like, yo, so if we don't get Europe next year, which is an actual realistic thing, like we could actually not get European football next year, are you okay with Kudus then not wanting to be at Spurs and having those same type of performances? And he said, yeah, he was fine with it. So like, that's part of it was the reason was as well, like, why the price tag was a bit nervous.
I'm fine of him eventually getting there, because for me, when you sign a player like Christian Romero or even Sonny, you could argue at some point should have left, because when you've been highly unsuccessful for a set amount of time, or there's a lull in your quote unquote success, for me, I think it's perfectly understandable. If you're a balling ass motherfucker, like, does Zlatan want to go play at Millwall whenever he's looking at PSG or United? And it's kind of like, to me, I think that I like that in a player, but it's the key word there is as soon as he doesn't want to play for us for whatever reason, I don't give a fuck, get out of here. But I don't blame him for, like, I can understand it, but if you don't want to play for Tottenham, I want you to fuck off. I'm very petty like that. You know, it's very simple in that sense. But
I hear that. But to be fair, when reports came out that he prioritized Tottenham over Chelsea, at that point I was like, okay, so he's not going to do that. But when I'd asked George that news hadn't come out yet, that he said no to Chelsea to prioritize Tottenham. So it must be like on his mind that Tottenham might not be as successful as Chelsea down the road. But since he prioritized Tottenham over Chelsea, I don't have those same type of worries anymore. But it was something that I was thinking about.
It's a few different sources too that are all saying the same thing, just different verbiage of. The message was always clear. He only wanted Spurs. He didn't want to go and negotiate with anybody. That's why no one else sent bids in. And I think that these two guys down here were hoping that someone else would come put a bid in. But if Mohamed Kudus is saying, no, I only want Tottenham, I want to work with Frank. And this is something, well, you know, and Mbeumo, hey, shit, he ain't signed for United. He might fuck around and end up somewhere else. Maybe he's hearing all the buzz in regards to, like, everyone laughing at him for trying to choose United when they finished 15th or whatever. But for me, I see it like we all know that we're not going to go bid for a player that don't want to be here. You're going to agree to personal terms and then work with the club. and or at least know that the player has that interest, and then see what the club says, then go back to the player. Then, you know, as far as how much back and forth there is, we'll never know unless we work there or know someone who works there. But from my understanding, in the 3 different franchises I've worked for over 3 different sports, was very simple in the fact of like, you're not gonna try to grab somebody that don't want to. Now, American sports are kind of different in that sense. You can force a dude to get traded. Like, he has no say in that, but he can also just not play or just be total ass, and then that team hasn't a reason to get rid of him. So they usually know if the player's down to go there or not in the trade. And to me, it's like, it makes it just, there's so many things about this signing, Elijah, that's like, he only wanted Spurs. He said no to fucking Chelsea. Like, when I took the piss for Dragusin saying no to Bayern, Bergvall saying no to Barcelona, that was because it was like, you know, it's just like, yeah, like, he's probably going to get more time here. They're going to get more chances here at this stage in their career than they will at those clubs. Who knows if they'll even stay there? They might get loaned out as soon as they get signed, kind of a thing. And with this one, I still think it is a little bit of that. You know, if Mohamed Kudus going to Chelsea, the competition there's, you got Neto, João Pedro now, Liam Delap. You got in the 10, you got Palmer. They've also got some other fucker that they be putting there in the 10 that I don't know if that's from the academy. Apparently, it's supposed to be good. They've got, obviously they're trying to sell no matter what. Say that again.
They got Bino Gittins and Esteval coming. Esteval,
that's who it is. Yeah, Esteval. Yeah, and then Gittins, I don't think it's official yet, is it?
I'm pretty sure it is. But they also got someone else coming next season, according to Prime. I think Quenda's his name. But they've got someone coming.
That's the thing, is they've got those motherfuckers that are like 14, and as soon as they hit that legal age, they're getting shipped to England.
Yeah, apparently the oldest player at that club is
Neeson movie about this.
Tosin's the oldest player at that club, apparently. He's 27.
Well, this stream's only 32 minutes, and whenever I left, I think it said they've been streaming for 28 minutes. So I'm gonna say that it's got to be somewhere in here.
We was dog shit, mate. Really bad.
Them getting rattled
So
by
I
the
don't
chat.
Get all this, you know, and listen, they've had relative success, and I have been complimentary on the way Tottenham to, you know, to the direct, you know, they've, you know what I mean. We've been up there. Simple as that. We're in the same league. We're rivals. You know what I mean? Like,
huh? Let me rewind
you know, they've done it all the right way. You know, a lot more better than us. But at the end of the day, they are our rivals. They are our rivals. You know what I mean? We've been up there fighting for Europe over the last few seasons, and last year we were scrapping relegation together. So, simple as that. We're in the same league. We're rivals. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the same way that us and Fulham are rivals, the same way that us and Brighton are rivals. We're rivals. Whether you like it or not, we're rivals. They're welcome to him. Don't get me wrong. They are welcome to him. If there would have been someone I wanted to sell, but all of this, we've got your best player. You ain't got nowhere near our best player, I'm afraid. Like,
yeah,
I would say best or second
you know,
best.
he's
I'm
a
fine
good
with
player.
Bowen being number one. Who is there anyone on that team that you're like, that's their best player?
Well, it's Bowen, definitely. But I don't know if they might say Wan-Bissaka based on how he's performed this season. But you know, it's because Kudi, I mean, you love to be fair. Wan-Bissaka was one of the best players last season. Like, no trophy.
Well, yeah, the last 6 months of that season. Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
I think based on performance wise, there's probably better players. But like, if we're talking about like just as a player, like how good are they at their best? It's just Bowen. That's it. That's the only guy better than Kudus. But yeah, maybe Wan-Bissaka. I don't know who else they would say because they can't really justify. And oh yeah, Lucas Paqueta. I forgot he was.
I would say that he's probably third. I put him closer to how I rate Mikel Antonio before the car crash.
I would say Paqueta is better than Kudus. It might, but again,
Paqueta actually turned us down for West Ham, if I remember correctly.
I actually don't remember, to be fair.
Or maybe we didn't. Maybe we just didn't bid quick enough. It was one of those. I remember we were in for him and we never got him. But for me, like, I can sleep at night with the Bowen saying Bowen's their best player. Second best for me is Mohamed Kudus. But if I could pick one player from that team, it's always for me been Mohamed Kudus. And then I also like Crescencio Somerville. I wanted to sign him from Leeds a few years ago, and they ended up getting him. And then there's also that guy, Jaden Philogene, that I looked into. I was like, I kind of like Philogene's not my lover. And lo and behold, he went to Villa.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
And then Villa loaned him or sold him to Ipswich or something. So it just didn't work out. So, you get things wrong, you get things right. I think their opinion on Kudus as a player and like where they rank him, there's a little bit of that emotional bias involved in there. Says I can just feel it. I don't even know these guys, and I can just feel that like they're doing this like, you can have him. He's not that good. Just wait till you see him. And it's like, okay, but then why are you so upset that you getting 55 million for him then if he's so shit, right? Like if I got 55 million for Richarlison, I'd say that's a good deal. If I got 55 million for Brendan Johnson, I'd say that's a good deal. That's someone who I would say is
different,
not.
though. That's different. Kudus is a top 3 player for them. Richarlison and Brendan aren't top 3 players for us.
That's what I'm saying. But our top 3 players, I wouldn't sell for 55 though.
Who do you think is the best? Who do you think is like the second or third best player at Spurs?
I think for me, I don't. And this is complete bias, but
it's fine. It doesn't.
Son for me is undeniable until he's in the ground. As far as
Son's a legend though, because Kudus isn't a legend at West Ham. So I want a player that's not a legend, but he's a top 3 player.
I love him. I love Son.
Okay, let's say I'll answer the question. Let's say
Romero
went to like Chelsea for like 60 million, or he went to Arsenal for like 60 million.
Havertz? Are you talking about Havertz?
Kulusevski.
Oh, Kulusevski, I think is regarded as one of our top 3. I think you could say he's up there.
So how we'd feel if Kulu had one bad year and then went to, or basically the last season Kulu had in it. So like injuries, was good at the start of the year, but not so good at the end of the year. After last season, he went to Chelsea or to Arsenal for 60 million. Like that's probably how they feel about Kudus coming to us. Like a top 3 player at the club, based on
so
ability.
Boris listed 6 here, and I would say out of this 6. I'd say I put Porro up there. I got a lot of respect for Pedro Porro. That motherfucker's out there training, helping getting Yang back ingratiated with us. He's out there getting.
I don't agree
with Porro. Defensively, fuck no. But like free kick wise, athlete wise, and just as a player, I think in our ranking of like 60. Above 60, 70 easy.
Nah, they're not. Don't agree at all. Don't agree.
I don't know about Bergvall. I think it's a little soon to say. With Bergvall, Kulu,
it's only
I think Kulu. Yeah, so I think that's a good comparison. Kulusevski going for 60 mil to Arsenal. I would more be pissed at Kulu. I'd cook that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
But that's what they're doing. They're cooking Judas.
Yeah,
they're calling him Judas. Yeah. They're calling him Judas the Judas.
He's a good player on his day, but he's nowhere near our best player. But no, good luck to him. Good luck to you. Good luck to him. Whatever. As I said, he's after Champions League football. He'll play it for a season. You'll see what he's like next season. I'm pretty sure of it. Well, the season after next. And then he'll be on his fucking way again because that is what Mohamed Kudus does. But there we go.
I say bad luck to him, bad luck to them. And I wish them the worst. There's just an update. And I won't read it out word for word.
This man said, I'm going to say bad luck to him. I hope for you the worst.
These are the average West Ham fans, by the way, Jacob. These, man, like, if you see Mike's here, he's an outcast of West Ham fans, all right? These man here are the average West Ham fan in London. I'm telling you this for a fact.
Dear Kudus, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my home cell phone pager at the bottom. I wrote 2 letters back in autumn. You must not have got them.
If you see an influx in Ghanaian Tottenham fans, you know why. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, come on, Ghana, stand up. I need that fufu.
You want me to stand up? I can stand up if you want.
But
are you Ghanaian descent? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Shoot. I know Ghanaian.
People think I hate Kudus, man. That's tough. I'm literally from the same country.
That's crazy. Well, I hate a lot of Americans, and they're from my country. So
Ghana and America is just. I don't think Ghana's as big as the states in America. Not the same.
I wonder how big. Yeah, I wonder how big it is comparatively to Texas. Jacob, I'm not lying. Most West Ham fans look exactly like these guys. Bald? Is that what he means? Bald and white?
An update saying the deal isn't 100%
like proper geezers, isn't it?
But apparently, Kudus has put in a transfer request, which doesn't change anything for me. Him putting a transfer request means nothing. That doesn't mean, oh shit, we better sell him 55 million to hold out for 65. Right? He's put a transfer request. Meaningless. It seems to me like they were too impatient to wait for Chelsea to come in, which I think Chelsea, who are about to sell Madueke to Arsenal for 50 million, would have come and put a bid in, I think, with that sale sorted. And it just seems we were far too impatient and too desperate.
Do you think that's true? I was concerned for a long time, and technically I still am, because it's not official. And until Kudus is actually holding the shirt, I still think at any moment we could fuck it up. I just have that little confidence in our upper management, and especially in transfers in this regard. Like, I mean, remember Paulo Dybala? It was like, we got him. We did the fucking media shoot and everything. It was almost like Daniel James's situation when he tried to go to Leeds at first. It was like deadline day just doesn't go through. The fact that it's being done this early gives me the hope that that's so far away from a reality that we could live in. But, you know, I still feel maybe just a little intimidation in regards to like Chelsea just coming in and scooping him up, just saying, fuck it. We'll give you 70 and we'll offer him, you know, 1.5 more on the contract per week. It's like they can and they will. They've done it to other people. And it's like we are always that. I use the metaphor, Elijah, for Tottenham in the transfer market. We're like that bird that's circling the prey. And we're like, that's our prey. We're going to get them. And we're just circling and circling. And if you circle too long, motherfucker going to either run away or a bigger bird's going to come eat that thing. So to me, it's just, I don't want that to happen. Ellie says, Kudus has a medical on Thursday. That's what I heard. That's what I saw too as well. Did you see Paul O'Keefe getting mudded?
I didn't.
That old man's back in the fucking mud.
Ellie called me Eugene. I did see that though. That kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But
she called you Eugene.
Yeah, hurt my feelings just a little bit. Just a little bit. But
I guess in the argument of fairness, I don't have the names up. So let me.
Above her comment, guy says my name. So yeah.
Oh. Hey, maybe autocorrect. You never know. But what I would say is, okay, there he is. I had another guest. I wanted to hit you with a little bit of that full. I almost said something very ayo crazy, but I want to hit you with a full court press, Elijah. So maybe this guest will still be able to join. This mystery guest. I don't want to tell you who it is.
Yes.
Where was it? What was I looking for? They booked the announcement for tomorrow to avoid Chelsea's and shit. Luxo, I hope this is true. And I do think that because of how quickly we did this, that might actually be the case now. And in turn, that's another reason why I'm so happy. Because Elijah, I think you know behind the scenes and especially online, my demeanor towards Tottenham. It's almost more aligned with apathy, Eeyore-esque vibes. Because it's just like, all right, we win a trophy that I've never seen in my lifetime. And then we sack the guy and we hire a guy who I don't think is comparable in any accolade sense for sure. So it's like, why are we doing this? I just felt but this Kudus deal and the timing of the Kudus deal, it's given me like almost a peek under the skirt a little bit. I'm like, okay, I see what we're trying to do here now. Because we're actually getting a fucking key signing before the season starts. Not 4 days before, like Van de Veen. Not 4 matches after the season starts, like Brennan Johnson, who were 2 key signings for our last manager. And it's like, at the end of the day, my feelings aside from Frank or whoever we would have hired, feelings aside from that, I always want this club to be successful, and I want this fucking ownership to do right by the manager. And I just felt like Tommy coming in was a indicator of we're going to go back to just being who we are, doing what we did for Poch and Jose and Conte and Nuno and Ainge, and just kind of doing that. And that wasn't enough for me. And that's why I was so apathetic and so not really excited for the season. But this Kudus signing, it really, you know, if we could get Kudus, and I know this may be a far stretch, but the Visa links are I still saw stuff coming out about Visa, even though here we go. So you sign Kudus, you sign Visa, and shit. I'm going to throw a name out there that I ain't heard a lot of people talking about, Manu Kone. I don't know if he played for Roma last year, but before that he was at Borussia Mönchengladbach, if I said that right.
You did.
That's where I first saw him when I was watching Leverkusen. I was keeping up with them. And that's when I was like, I want Frimpong, I want Diaby, I want Hincapi. Give me all these players from Leverkusen. And, you know, one of the games I remember seeing, I was like, who's that guy? And it's Manu Kone. And he played for Roma last year. I think he's a hell of a 6. And and this is just based off what I've seen and the very minimal research into him. But you go get those 3 next signings, bro. I am more excited. But even just with Mohamed Kudus, I'm like, is wet behind the lips a good turn of phrase? Moist around the crust, moist around the edges. My seat ain't sitting the same.
I'll let you say those. I don't think I'd repeat them.
Do you think they're okay to say in this moment?
Yeah, they're fine because I know what you're talking about. But around, don't say that in boardroom talks, innit? Because you'll get hit with a bunch of.
See, this is the thing: is I say Tommy touches players and they turn to gold, and people think I'm talking about, weird shit, and it's like, no, this was a point that actually now I remember that I wanted to, and I'll hide them for a second, maybe.
It's giving me PTSD.
I just, there's too much shiny fucking dome that I was like, man, I can't. Okay, I gotta get these. What was I lying? There's a lot of shiny dome.
Bro, you're
anyway,
American.
That's not a good segue. But I have another guest. And Elijah, I hope you got something for what he's got for you. I don't know. Here's George from DuragDiaries. Hey,
big up to people. Big up to people. Big up to me, fam. Big up to E, the biggest fraud in the fan base right now. You can't celebrate my boy. You can't celebrate my boy.
When have you seen me celebrate, fam?
I'm just saying you can't. I'm just saying you can't. So
I've been sipping, bro. I'm not worried about Kudus, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He's been trying to sip those sorrows away, but he's happy. He's smiling underneath. He knows what.
I can't smile. I'm not allowed to celebrate. I can't smile.
Yeah. But I know how you're feeling underneath. You do have a smile, and yeah, man. Like this is a big move for Tottenham and finally making some business. But what's good, chat? Make sure you smash your likes. Yeah, man. How's everyone doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. Just having a nice little conversation. Me, George. I'm so hype about this signing. It's actually got me like I reluctantly jumped on to this sardine pack train that they say of Frank the engine or whatever. And it's more because I had no choice. What was I going to do? Not support Tottenham? That's just not going to happen. It's like, all right, I'm here. I kind of felt like Elijah in the sense of like, whenever I invite him on a stream, he's like, I'll be there. Thumbs up. I mean, if he could give like a half thumbs up, he would. But it's like that. I was kind of telling him before you joined that I just had this general sense of apathy going into the season next season with like, we're just going to be the same old Tottenham and probably even worse than that now at this stage because of what we're doing. But what we're doing with Kudus and the timing of Kudus, it kind of reinvigorated. It put a little jock in my sock. Is that a good turn of phrase? It put mustard on the corn dog.
That's why I told you not to do this on the boardroom talks, bro. I told you.
Something in my sock, jock in my. That sounds crazy.
That's why I said you can't do this on the boardroom talk, bro.
Bouncing my step. How about that? A little bit of
my step. Yeah.
Sunshine in sunshine in my
that, bro. Like he was saying something.
I said, moist behind the lips a little. I'm trying to find a way to verbalize and encaps.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that just means something good's happening. Either some good food or some good sex. But my point in saying it was, my point in saying it was, I've got this reinvigorate. It's like I've obviously it's not official yet, and if it becomes unofficial, I think my heart is gonna break. I'm not gonna lie. This is a player I've wanted at Tottenham for about 2-3 years now. We're getting him off West Ham. What's your initial thoughts on the signing, George? How do you feel about? Obviously, I know how you feel about it. We spoke on the Football Terrace. To me, there's 2 big indicators here, and then the third is kind of a caveat for the player, but it's the timing of this. The fact that the players just got back to Hotspur way. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the rest of our team got back today. So the timing of it for me indicates that we're actually trying to be serious about life going forward. And the money spent and the not dragging our feet for a week to send another bid. We sent a bid, got rejected. A few days later, we sent another bid. To me, those two things from an administrative standpoint give me a lot of hope for the future. And then just the player in general, I'm very excited to get that. I think he comes in and he's immediately our best attacker. I think he could play on the left, right, and at the 10. And even if we get desperate, he could play striker as far as I'm concerned. I think he's just all around. He is a baller. He is a guy who wants the ball at his feet and let him go to work. And to me, we don't have enough of that. And he comes in, best dribbling ability. There was some pie charts and numbers we were looking at, and they're all really good stuff. You know, really good numbers and pie charts. So what's your opinion? What's your take? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, no, I think Kudus for me is a real needle mover in the squad. And well, I know I knew Elijah was gonna move. He's gonna be like, these buzzwords, what do they mean? And I'm gonna tell him what they means when he lets me finish. That's exactly what's gonna happen. So for me, when I look at Kudus, he's a player, like you said, who we don't have. We don't have a dribbler like him, and I feel like we haven't had an exciting dribbler. Probably going back to the days of Gareth Bale, Lennon. We were Spurs, and we were made up of having these players back in the day, and Darren Anderton, David Ginola, sort of bred through Gascoigne. Like we were known for having these types of players, and we went a long time for the last 10 years without having these sort of magical players that can make something with nothing. And when I look at Kudus, when you look at some of the goals he scored for West Ham, he's dribbling from halfway line, but below the halfway line, taking it back past 4 or 5 players, doing things that Sonny was doing 3 or 4 years ago for us that we was all going mad for, like that goal against Burnley. He done one very similar for West Ham last year. So when I look at him, he's got a good goal variety. I think he's very eager to learn to score goals, and I like that he chose Tottenham. Like he prioritized coming to Tottenham. It's been said that Atletico Madrid wanted him, Bayern Munich wanted him, Chelsea wanted him, a few other big clubs wanted him, but he said that he only wanted Tottenham. Now, to me, that's a big thing. That shows that, for one, he's got an ambition to be here. He wants to stay here, and he doesn't see us as a stepping stone. He sees us as the club that can help him take the career to his next level. And I'd also look at Thomas Frank. I know you obviously have clowned Thomas Frank and done the Timmy the trash can and all of this stuff, but
I got my anger out and I'm just sarcastic about it, basically.
Not 100%, but when I do actually look at it, when I look at how Mbeumo is and how he's grown over the last couple of years, I think Kudus is a very similar player with the raw traits, maybe not as clean cut as Mbeumo is at the moment, but within the next few years working under Thomas Frank, I think he has the ability to do that. You've seen what he's done with Vissa, you've seen what he's done with Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, and then also players like Benarama, who also went to West Ham and had a decent career, and obviously Mbeumo now. So I think working under him, Kudus could have a good time at Tottenham, man.
There's a point that you brought up and it reminded me fantastically of the comment or the question that I was going to ask Elijah right before you joined, which was those names that you just mentioned about Thomas getting his hands on them and what they are now, right? We would all take an Mbeumo, we would take a Visa, we would take a Tony, and probably pre-Saudi, pre the fuckery. But those are 3 names right there of attackers where before Thomas Frank, I didn't know them. I didn't know who I maybe knew their name from FIFA, but I didn't know them as a player or as a Premier League proven player. And so my question here for you, Elijah, y'all having fun with Ashley in the chat. Let Ashley have her fun. She don't like the Kudus, but I'm not saying that this Kudus signing makes me like
a whole man.
It's definitely not a she. That's
a grown man.
See, an old man
could be a
or
dude's name.
14-year-old kid.
Ashley could be
No, he's confirmed. He's a male.
Yeah, but Ashley can still
be
a
unisex name. It's a unisex name, yes, but he is a man.
Yeah, it was 2025, guys. Let's not be binary. Wait, or non-binary. Or wait,
we have to conform to their pronouns, and he identifies as a male.
Okay,
it's definitely only a male can have this much energy towards, my opinions. Big up to the catch up, man. Big up to these guys, Catch and SB. Jealous. Arsenal fans jealous.
I mean, the fact that there's people who are jealous about this, just I know how I feel about it, and I know what my opinion and my mood has been about it. But to the question that I was working on, trying to stay on track for, was look at players like Mbeumo. If he can make, let's say, Mbeumo who started maybe like, just put a number on it, 5, and now he's what, like an 85 out of 100, you could argue. to me, what does that mean when you take a guy who's starting at a higher level in Mohamed Kudus? When you're taking a guy starting at a higher level like Romero, when you have a guy starting at a higher level like James Madison, like these are players that I don't think are at the level Thomas Frank is used to. So my hope, I don't think is going to happen. I hope it does. Is that he's going to, if he raises players by X amount %, then for me, that is a very successful hiring. If he can take all our players and do what everyone sold him off to do. But what I've known in life is not all the selling points of any product that you purchase in life lives up to all those motherfucking things. Like you've got, I can think of a million different products in this capitalist world we live in where they advertise it as this, and this, but it only does 3 of the 6 decent and the other ones meh or not at all. Like my PlayStation 5, this motherfucking thing keeps overheating and it ain't even a goddamn year old. Why the fuck does a fan come on so goddamn loud?
It doesn't want to watch you lose in Division 6. That's why.
It's stupid. It's certain games, cut scenes, and like it's like we're trying so hard. Ooh, stupid ass PlayStation. But my point is, if he can take a product and make it 25 to 45% more effective at whatever they're trying to do, kind of like what Ainge did with Brennan Johnson, shit player, but he was getting output out of him. Timo Werner, Dominic Solanke, Brennan Johnson were our starting forwards at one point when we had the most goals in the Premier League. We weren't winning all the games, but we did have the most goals with that shit front three. So like he was getting something out of that percentage, whatever value it is up to the person. So my question, very long-winded question, Elijah, I'll start with you, is if he could take an Mbeumo and raise him to that level that he's at, he could take a Vissa and a Tony and raise them to their levels that they reached. Who's to say he can't turn Mohamed Kudus to the Ghanaian Neymar?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I ain't seen him at Spurs yet. When I see him managed, then I know what'll go on in it. But I can't lie. For every manager, I don't care what they did at other clubs in it. I want to see what they do here. So, yeah, what the shit he did at Brentford.
But don't you think it's relevant? Because that's just like going to a job interview and they say, yeah, fuck your CV. I don't really care what you done.
It's relevant, sure. But like, you can have the perfect CV and then go to a new job and be shit. So, like, your CV doesn't determine how well you're going to perform at your new job necessarily. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's good to consider, sure, but just because he has a good CV doesn't mean I'm going to automatically assume he can do the same shit at Spurs. I'm going to wait and see. If he does, then fairs.
You don't trust a sushi chef to make you steak.
The thing is, though, like with the Kudus deal, I remember your biggest concern was the price. You never really said that he was a rubbish player. You said the price. You didn't think it was worth it. Spurs ended up getting £30 million under release clause and £10 million under what they wanted. Don't you think we got him for a good deal at 55 million? Considering,
yes, I said at the start of the stream. Obviously, you weren't here for it, which is fair enough. Yeah. But I said at the start of the stream that Levy deserves a lot of credit for because I thought it'd be 65 plus add-ons. I didn't think it'd just be 65. So the fact he got it for 55, the add-ons I don't care too much about because that's minuscule. It's really 55M. So yeah, no, that's major credit to Levy and
allegedly paying it over 3 years as well. So it's not even like West Ham are getting 55.
Yeah, so no, it's a very good
years, fucking losers.
That's very good. Yeah, it's very good for a very good move from Levy, especially against David Sullivan, who's a flipping. He is another one of them corrupt owners, fam, and frauds. So yeah, no, Levy deserves major props for that.
I was gonna say that name sounds familiar because these guys were talking about it.
I saw this come up, man. I was literally saying
they disabled the live chat.
Don't worry, Jacob. I'm gonna get Lawless this week. I told him he can't run, he can't hide. I'm coming. Pause. But I am gonna get him because I've been seeing all this crying about David Sullivan, this, David Sullivan, that, and we just need to let him know. You know what West Ham is? West Ham's like everyone's had that one girl in their life that will swear that they were your girlfriend, but everyone knows that was never your girlfriend. That was just a random one of their girls.
Yeah, it was that late night thing. Yeah,
that was just a late night one. But they're gonna tell all their girls they were your girl. West Ham's the rival that tell everyone they are rivals, but we've never cared about them like that. They will tell you we are. There's gonna be a Tottenham tax. No. Nobody cares about you. When we go to your players and we actually want one, we'll take them. It's not hard. Like I'm
gonna go back. I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna say, you know what West Ham remind me of? When my wife and I were just dating, there was a girl that had been blowing me up, and she like saw our messages and stuff, and I was just like, no, she's just like a really like I'm friends with her friends, and she confided some personal information in like with me. I think she's batshit crazy, but I had been texting her and stuff, like, and my wife thought there was something there, and I was like, "There's nothing there." She just said like she was gonna do something bad to herself, and I was trying to be like, "Hey, it's all good, like life, you know, not in a strictly friendly way, like a human reaching out to another human saying it's okay." Kind of a thing, and my wife
Probably wasn't the
does
best
not believe
stream
it to this
wasn't
day.
the
If I brought
best
up that chick's name, she'd be
stream.
like, "I know you and her had sex."
Don't think that was
know you."
I don't think that was a good story to share on stream, but you know what? Fair enough in it. You
What? I was trying to be a good guy. That was a good story. Why was that a good story?
He kills me.
No, I'm just saying. I just don't think that.
And my my point is, if I said that name to my wife today, right now, she would swear on everything that I hooked up with this girl, and it's like, I don't know you like that. That was my point. It's like, I don't know her like that. I was just being nice to her one time. It wasn't even a late night thing. There's other ones that she don't know about. That would, you know, Crystal Palaces, the Brentfords.
So you self snitch. Hey, this is why, as bro, you should
Lock it off.
Should be
Lock it
self
off.
snitching, bro.
This is AI. This is AI. I am not.
Hey,
What is it?
Personally, I'm not here.
Young,
You know
it's that young
AI
thug syndrome.
secret.
Yeah, it's that young
AI
thug
law,
syndrome.
On a completely
Snitching
separate
on
note,
myself in the raps.
I think this screenshot perfectly encapsulates West Ham fans right now. I can't lie.
No, George,
I saw
Elijah
someone in
said
the chat
earlier.
say, I would definitely know about West Ham fans, and they are right. I literally, I'm very loyal
Guy.
to West Ham. Like,
Yeah.
and I see these guys all the time, and these two are the literally epitome of half of the fan base. This is how 70%
Elijah
of the
said that's a
fan base
before
looks.
and after.
Yeah, this is literally 70% of the fan base. The lawless, and I'm not too sure who this fella is, but definitely lawless.
That's
represents,
Lewis's like
70%.
uncle or something, bro. It has to be. And too similar.
Oh, look at that! Look, that was I was trying to find that because I was in this chat when this live was on, and there was about 600-800 people in there, and I swear 90% were Spurs fans just fucking with them, and just laughing, putting like bubbles in
Yeah,
the chat,
salute to Ranger,
and they
fam.
were
I know you
getting
was in there.
getting pretty pissed off. I think the dude ended up rage quitting on the right, the guy on the right.
Yeah, I
He
was
it was quite
messaging him,
evident
honestly. He was
from the performances
definitely
last season that he wanted to leave. Like he was, in fact,
But
he fucking
look at
knew
this
he was
I want to
last
read
season.
this comment real quick. I thought this was a good comment. It says, "I'm struggling with it, lads. We invest in West Ham. We love the club, and by proxy, hate Tottenham. The owner knows the reaction this will cause, and he's done it anyway.
The most
Money.
surprising
We
thing about that
might
is that he
actually
has his
cause
hair.
them to fucking riot. Have you seen those
Did you see
flyers
that?
on Twitter?
Yeah, they've got protests. They're going to be doing a protest about this. We protest for standards. They protest because they're selling players, man. It's dark. Kudus the Judas. We've got a Judas on our side.
We've got our own Judas. That's nice.
Now they know how we felt about Sol Campbell, bro. Fuck it, no.
Here's a different looking West Ham fan. I was like, I think I got something." I mean, the hairline's getting there. Why are you laughing? That wasn't even a joke.
You look. Oh no. Let me not say it, bro.
There's more hair on his head than the
I
other
wasn't looking
ones.
at his head, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, my fault.
I'm going to try my very hardest to stay as calm as I possibly can during this video. I'm going to try. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, am I pissed off?
Bro, he's about to crash. He's about to crash out. Have y'all seen this? I've never seen this.
Very hard to stay as possibly calm.
Bro, this is special, bro. Yes.
He gave us a warning.
Bro, it's like when your
every
dad's
time you
about to-
pause.
That was the most polite warning I've ever heard in my life. I'm rather sorry, but I'm going to say possibly as calm as possible.
Going to be raising my voice in this video, guys.
I am indubitably going to be getting a little anxious and stressed out.
That Mohammed Kudus is going to stop them. A little bit. I don't like it. I didn't want it to happen. But I had come to accept that it was probably going to happen. I still had this little bit of hope that Chelsea would come in and
his name is rather creative.
It's technically possible, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
West Ham fan 86.
At all, but I've kind of already come to terms with it. Am I annoyed that I'm going to have Tottenham fans in my comment sections now for forevermore about this? Yeah, that's a little bit annoying, but at the end of the day, it's just banter. And I've been bantering Tottenham fans, and I've always said, like, you don't give it if you can't take it, and I can take a little bit of banter, so that bit's fine. Am I more pissed off about the fact that they're only paying 55 million? Yeah. That.
So Elijah, you were worried about the price tag, and so is he.
No, this is why I say this is a huge W for Levy to negotiate down from basically 70 million plus with the add-ons to 55 million. I'll say it's a huge W for that. Okay, that's a big W.
W for the bald man. That's hey.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's still a bitch, but W to him, innit? He did well.
Yeah, it's like one nice dinner don't make up for all the times you know.
Yeah, he's still Voldemort. Maybe he cast a spell or something to hypnotize David Sullivan in it, but he's still Voldemort. But he did.
But I saw a tweet that said apparently it was Johan Lange that was like, "Get this fucking done now," kind of a guy. So if that's true, does he get to miss out on the Drake charges?
I feel like.
No, put him in prison.
I think Langer is, as much as we've all criticised him and laughed at some of the deals, he has done some good deals for Tottenham and done some good business, especially with the younger players, identifying the right players. And to be fair, he did want Thomas Frank some time ago. He's always wanted that link up with Thomas Frank. So now that he's finally got it, I think they're probably gonna have a good relationship, and they'll probably identify and choose players a lot easier than in the past, because we've known there's always been a friction in the hierarchy.
If you say his government name one more time, I have to play a video.
Who's that? Langer.
Our manager.
Oh, Thomas.
It's like
Thomas
Beetlejuice. Yeah. That hits my heart, man. Right there in the soul. A little bite. Well, you were saying, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, I was finished. That's
contractually obligated. Once we reach a certain threshold, I have to play certain propaganda.
No, that's all.
What's the next threshold?
Get over Ainge. I am over Ainge. I just played a video, bro. Why are you not over Ainge? You're the one who said his name. I didn't even say the 4-letter word. So, egg on your face.
That is a piss take. Levy's had a fucking pants down over this. What a serious 55. That's it. That's all it took. 55 million. That's it. What happened to this Tottenham tax? What happened to this? We don't want to do any business with Tottenham. We don't want to sell to Tottenham. What happened to any of that? That just went all out the window, didn't it? They just did. Because apparently we need money, which we don't fucking need, by the way, because our owners are worth over £13 billion. But no, we're going to do this, and we're going to sell him for 55 million. Instead of trying to rinse as much money as we possibly can out of Spurs for a player that they desperately wanted, no, we let him go for £30 million under his release clause. Now, as I've always said, I never expected us to get 85 million.
So his release clause was over 80? It was 85?
85, yeah.
85, yeah.
I mean,
last
bro,
season,
I would have paid it. I'm
there was rumors last season. Terry said that they got an offer for him for about 75 million last year, but they turned it down, thinking obviously he's gonna have a better season, and then it's gone against him in that sense.
Yeah, his first year he was pretty damn special in that first year at West Ham. It just made it worse seeing the highlights, seeing him getting the goals, and then this last season I thought the whole club, it's hard to shine like the way you do when the club is in turmoil, right? You've got all types of issues. I mean, one of their teammates got in a very serious car accident, Mikel Antonio. They had a manager sacking. The contextual evidence around why Kudus's numbers, GA wise, weren't the greatest last year. There's a lot of compounding circumstances there. And there's actually a point that Elijah brought up, and I want to ask you this, Jordan. I didn't mean to say your government, George's.
It's cool.
I don't know why, but I want to. Fuck, what was the question now? I've done forgot. It's like
You're busy trying to expose them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Forgot your damn question.
I think everyone knows
Too busy
that George is short for
doxing your
Jordan.
government.
I think I'm safe on that sense.
Yeah.
My name is Jordan.
Jordan.
Fuck, there was a good point. There was a good question in there I wanted to ask. It was something that Elijah kind of brought up. Oh, wait. It was about Kudus is like, okay, well, if that's how he treated West Ham, right? When shit's getting bad, he didn't really kind of want to be here. Is that something that you want in a player? Is that something that you don't want? And I kind of said, I think that's a good thing in a player to see the world crumbling around you and say, how do I get out of this? Because I know I'm better than this. And to me, that just speaks to a strong individual like a Romero, like some argued Son should have done, like Kane eventually did, like Bale, like Modric.
People always get onto players when they don't have standards for themselves, and him recognizing that he's above West Ham standards, no slight on him. I think he realizes that over the next couple of years, especially because I think people forget a lot of the players that got brought in by the sporting director, Tim Staten, who's now at Bayern Leverkusen, who left West Ham after like a year or two. He made a lot of promises to these players to take them to the promised land under all these managers, play European football because they looked good. You know, they won the Conference League. They were going to take that step forward. They signed all these big players and they thought they were doing good business and doing good things. Like we saw last year, they spent a lot of money. People thought they made some great signings, but they were so poor. So I think a lot of these players were made a lot of promises. The club couldn't keep them. And then now, just like it does, and like it would happen with us as well, they're looking away and they're looking at the club funny. They want to go on, move to a club that's going to be playing in at least the Europa League, but more than anything, Champions League football. That's what we can offer. And I just think that like there may be a time in his career where he's not happy at Spurs, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, as he was keen to come to Tottenham. So he knows what it's like where we're at right now. And I think he's earned his right to demand playing for a club at our level, because West Ham are like way below our level. That's the thing. I don't think you could blame a player for wanting to leave West Ham.
I mean, the fact that Bowen has stayed there so long, I think we need to start talking shit on his name, quite frankly. Because how long do you stay a loser? Forever, I guess, is the answer for him.
No way we're loser talk, bro.
I've got a question for you guys though.
What?
Where do you think we move on to next? Because obviously we've now signed a right winger, we've signed a centre back in some sorts, you know. Elijah would say a very good signing at that. So, yeah, what's the next signing we should make? Where's the priority? Where should we move? We're obviously seeing the links to Vista today, but do you think a midfielder?
We need to sell people first before we buy again. We need to sell first.
We do got to get some fuckers out, like Brian Hill, and I think Højbjerg's technically our player still.
Nah, he was gone with an obligation. Marseille now. He would be assigned on Marseille.
It was obligation, and he fulfilled the obligation. Okay. I just don't. I ain't kept up with.
I think the only ones that we've got left to sell: Brian Hill, Manos Solomon, Richarlison, potentially Sonny within the next month. Maybe Ashley Phillips.
And
Ben Davies,
had to go. They wanted them. If we're getting a midfielder,
I think Basuma's gone. I've seen a lot of links for Basuma to be gone.
Yeah,
I've seen Basuma and Juve, but that's the only link I've seen with Basuma.
I'm not sure about Basuma links, to be fair, but I haven't really been looking, so that's why I don't know.
I did see something to say that apparently Gray, Frank really likes Gray because obviously he wanted him at Brentford, so we could potentially look at playing Gray in the 6 going forward in the season. How do you guys think of that? If we don't sign a top midfielder and we opt to use Gray?
Elijah, I'll let you go first.
I actually don't mind, to be fair.
What?
I'm fine with that.
Elijah thinks this is Football Manager. He thinks playing FIFA career mode. I know that. He thinks that like if you keep playing the player, the potential gets unlocked quicker. That's what he thinks. Like the player, he's gonna go.
What do you man want to do with Archie Gray this
season?
No, I'm not gonna lie. That's not what I expected from Elijah.
Don't get me wrong, yeah.
You put him so much on your thumbnail, getting twisted up by Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Use him as a 40 million utility player. Like, where would you play him then? Like, he wouldn't start anyway
next season. I don't think he should start though.
But he's not going to start anyway, really. Like, realistically, he's not actually going to start.
Tottenham Rangers said Douglas Luiz. I would love a Douglas Luiz because I think Mrs. Alicia comes with that's like a package deal.
That's not his missus no more.
Yeah, they done broke up, you know. But
well, we got room at Tottenham Hotspur women. I know that.
But Archie Gray's not. That's why I say we have to sell first, because like as much as I'd want to bring in like a midfielder with Basuma, Bentancur, and Sarr all there, and obviously Bergvall, like all as those kind of deeper midfielder roles. No Diddy. We need to sell at least one or two of them in order to bring in another midfielder, because we've signed 4 players and we haven't sold anyone. So it's like we can't keep signing players now. So until we sell people,
go on.
No, I'll just say until we sell people, we can't really realistically look at buying anyone else at that point.
I just think that looking at our squad, even we saw this season 1 or 2 injuries to our midfield, and you saw how weak it looked and how like we were short for options. So I still feel like we can add a midfielder in there. But you are right. I think if Basuma goes, we could sign another 2 midfielders. But I'd probably say sign 1 midfielder and promote another midfielder, whether that be from the academy, whether that be Divine, whether that be Donnelly. Just promote another player to be in and around the squad.
I think Divine gets sold. Quite frankly,
he probably will need to be sold. But Donnelly looks
he's
like
what 22, 23 now. And he barely is able to push the needle at Westerlo.
Yeah, he's probably going to be the one that's sold. But
how long you sit on the toilet for you just realize it was farts and not shit? You know, it's like, to me, I think Alfie Divine, I'm kind of just, I have no more hope there. I'm kind of losing hope with Scarlett as well. Like, I was watching the training video. As far as the youth goes, the ones that I'm most interested to see, obviously George Abbott, for the fact that he outran everybody. And then secondly, Vuskovic looks like a motherfucking building. So I want that. I want to see.
He's a tower.
I do, just out of curiosity, want to see some of the Japanese Virgil van Dijk. He looks very frail and like he could get pushed around by Maupay. So I don't know that I want to see too much, but I'm curious to see him in a preseason match or two. But as far as like other kids from the academy, you know, I just don't know. Like, if they're anywhere close. Like, if I saw a comment that said, or from Archer, says Gray needs to loan and bulk up. I think he showed that he can physically handle the Premier League. It's the mental part where when you're thinking too much or you're thinking too little, that's when the physicality is gonna falter. Like, there's that clip of Kudus going around where he just beat like 4 or 5 men. They show that, they don't show that part, and he's full sprint chasing the ball, and it was a whole run of the pitch, and at the very end he tries to cross it and he fucking whiffs it. Nasty. Oh, it looked like me trying to fucking whip that thing in with my right foot, and just really bad. And I think that sometimes, like, when you're thinking or trying too hard to do something, that's when you get in those moments where you want a player that's kind of cool and calm in those situations, where we kind of just threw Archie Gray into the pool without floaties and said, figure it out, son. And I don't know. I think with a little bit of Frank's going to put arm floaties on all these kids, isn't he? I'm assuming, the way he treats the kids.
I think the way that he plays is a lot more structured. And when you look at the midfield and the defense, it's not going to be so open. So when you look at a player like Archie Gray, he's probably going to be shielded by another midfielder player next to him in a double pivot, rather than leaving. There was a lot of times in the midfield, I remember when we were saying, I think it was Bergvall playing in there, or Sarr, they would be left there, and then the 2 players would just be high and wide, way ahead in front of them. And there's just no structure to the actual shape. I mean, whenever I've played football and known, there's always been a triangle. The midfield keeps in a triangle shape, and they stay pretty close. You may have one player that stretches out a bit further, but if so, then you have the 2 players.
Will the triangles consist of our center backs? That's my first question about these patterns of play, because I do agree. Like, it was very much like every week, I don't know what midfield we're going to go. Is Sarr going to be that box to box this week, or is he going to be sitting between the 2 center backs? It's like you kind of never really knew. And I do agree with you. Like, and when I've played as well, and this is from a goalkeeping standpoint, but I see the whole pitch, right? You do have those patterns of play where you have a triangle here, a passing triangle there. And to me, it just seemed like our entire base of productivity was from these motherfucking center. And that's kind of what lulled me to sleep with Conte ball as well, is that it's like, relying on the center backs to be those passers. And I know Romero's a great passer of the ball. I think Mickey's not as good, but I don't like using our last line. Maybe that's just my old school goalkeeping, because I was always like, don't fucking pass me the ball. But we do like to play with that sweeper keeper. I mean, that's why Vicario was bought. How do y'all see that in regards to Frank? How did he really use David Ray? I don't remember David Ray being the sweeper keeper.
Yeah, no, he was. He
was. But Vicario can't pass.
I just remember him shot stopping like a motherfucker, but like that's just a now.
No, a lot of people, even the keeper they replaced him with, is really good with his feet. A lot, like Brentford wanted a keeper.
Raya was a passer. Raya's a passer.
Yeah, okay. Raya's literally one of the best goalkeeper and passers in the league.
I mean, I'd seen maybe 6 games of Raya before he went to Arsenal.
Number one option before he went to Arsenal, he was our number one option. We just didn't want to pay the money, and then they ended up selling him to Arsenal for the money that we was willing to pay. It was a bit of a dodgy deal on that side.
But Raya he's definitely an amazing goalkeeper.
The one that I'm interested in is who you mentioned just there, though, Jacob, is Sarr. I look at him and I'm like, he's a good player. He's got some good attributes, but I'd probably say if he doesn't perform this season, I'd probably look to move him on, because he's still young. If we move him on, we could probably get a decent fee for him. But you can't just keep giving him years and years and years without actually having a standout performance. And I know he's suffered from playing under a few different managers. And again, he's got to get used to a new system under Frank. But he's been used in so many different positions. I don't know where his best position is. I don't know how Sarr's best football will be played. I think in an 8 he's good, but he could be as a 6. But he needs to.
It's like in a 6. I don't know if he's defensively good enough in the 6 to be like a solo. Maybe in a double pivot if he had 2 6s, maybe. But I kind of agree. I think he's just a really great athlete. He can get up and down the pitch. I think that there's a spot for him on this team. However, in the starting 11, we have to have better than what we've seen from Sarr. Whether that is Sarr, whether that's Douglas Luiz, whether that's some other midfielder. Let me throw a name out there who I would think just walks into this midfield, wouldn't cost us too much. Manu Kone. I threw that out to Elijah earlier. He played for Roma last year. Before that was at Borussia Mönchengladbach. You know, that's two big boy leagues. Where does
Archie Gray go then? Unless you want him to be a defender, where does he go in that then at that point?
I think Archie Gray's he's not ready to contribute at the level required. We're playing Champions League. Archie Gray can still get minutes in the Premier League. We're going to be playing 4 competitions across the full season. So
there's going to be
he's still 19. There's going to be minutes, but I would expect him to play 20, 25 games a season, not 30 to 40 games. Like there should be a lot of games where he's sat on the bench not playing no minutes too. Like in the Champions League, I think Archie Gray should have some minutes at times, but he's not the player we should be looking at to start in games. If he is,
but if we bring in the midfielder, we'll have a new midfielder. We'll have new midfielder, Bentancur, Bissouma, Sarr. That's already 4 players. Then you have Archie Gray. These are all like just holding midfielder kind of. That's already 5. There,
that's good.
Let me ask you this.
You're saying that's good, yeah, but like when we have other areas in the team where it's a lot more scarce for position, wouldn't it be better if we ended up like filling those positions out with like players we need? For example, like we need a right back.
Do we even know where Kulu's gonna play? Because
we don't need.
He's a right winger.
We need a right back.
So well, I think Spence is a better left back than right back. But fullback.
He's been a right back in his career, but he was.
Yeah, he's been a right back. If he can cover both positions, why would we sign someone? Like I get, like we should.
I understand he can cover both, but if one of the 3 fullbacks gets injured, then he has to play, and then we don't have a fullback replacement.
So I'd say
not even just for rotational purposes. I do agree we need another fullback
because Reguilon's not here no more, so it's literally just Udogi Poro and Spence.
And we literally did use Reguilon as well. He did start a Premier. I remember being like,
we had to start him. Like he was the last option we had.
No, I get you. We do definitely need a fullback, but I just mean like with central midfield, I feel like because it's one of the most key positions in the game.
But I guess that is an area that Archie can't cover, is the point, right? Like
he does play right back. He is.
Like say right Poro and Destiny both go down in the same game, and we're like, all right, put Archie Gray right back. Like we could do that.
He played right back for nearly a full season in the Championship. He's not.
He first caught my attention playing left back at Leeds.
No, I can't lie. He was he was rubbish at left back. When I watched him,
He
play against
he only
Galatasaray
played like
last
4
season,
games there
rubbish
or
at
something like
fullbacks.
that.
He
Both fullbacks, he was
at
rubbish.
left back, right back, he had a few bad games. I'm not gonna say he was good. I think centre back, he actually had some decent performances, but again,
Yeah, his
wasn't good
centre
enough.
back. His
Oh, I was
best
just talking about
performance
at
was
Leeds,
centre
by the way, for Archie Gray as left back.
But I think more than anything, look, in the central midfield, you need loads of different profiles in it. And I know people, like, again, Elijah's going to say it's a buzzword, but you need different types of players in it. That one player, like you said, is a box to box. One of them's more of a 6. One of them could be a player that breaks down the play, like a Paulinho, who's just an elite tackler, someone that's always going to win the ball, but maybe not good with their feet. And then you need another type of player who's really good with their feet, who could be an anchor for the in the DM and pick up the ball and spray it. So we need different types of players. At the moment, we've got very similar players. They're all Bentancur and Basuma are pretty much the same thing. Bentancur is just better than Basuma, but they're good off the ball. They put in
So
a
if
lot
you
of
have to
dog work
keep
on the
one
ball.
out of the
Bentancur.
3, you can only keep one out of the 3: Bentancur,
I'd keep
Basuma,
Basuma,
or Sarr.
Bentancur, no doubt. Bentancur is the best.
I'd keep Basuma just because of Bentancur's injury record, but Bentancur's better though.
Yeah, that's fair. He's got a bad injury record.
he gets injured a lot.
Not even just
and
injury. He's just
got
got a
that
bad
mild
record.
racism
And,
charge.
yeah, and
He's always
suspensions as well. But Bentancur is definitely the superior player, 100%. It's just the injuries and the suspensions.
For
And
me,
yeah, that's why we
there's
need
a
another
point here
midfielder
that
as well. We've got injury prone players.
There was a point that if I had to keep all of one of the 3 and we could still improve, like say if we got Douglas Luiz and you had to keep one of the 3 that I named, for me, I'm keeping Sarr because there's something to be said. And then next up would probably be Basuma for me, because Basuma showed in those last 3 European matches what I thought we were signing. In the first 9 matches of his first 9 matches under Ainge, I saw Basuma that I thought we were going to be getting
Mr.
from
Blue
Brighton.
Dior himself. You want this guy, this
Hey,
unserious guy.
I Nancy Reagan the fuck out of him for them balloons. But as soon as we won that Europa, I said, baby, I'll send you a pack of, what is it? Oxide for the car that goes zoom zoom. I don't give a fuck because we won. But he is far too inconsistent, and I think that obviously recreational use of anything can affect you in different ways, phically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally.
He's had some really, really low lows.
But Papa Sarr is the right kind of guy. You don't have these kind. When this motherfucker goes on vacation, he's donating to charities and making appearances and giving 100 Tottenham shirts to a bunch of kids at his school. So he's like the right kind of guy. And in the moments that mattered, like what I was saying for Basuma to prop him up, Sarr did really well as well. Like I still call Tottenham Ranger. They made some good points, and I'm like, that is true. He was bodying everyone in that final. I mean, granted, it was Manchester United's midfield, but that's a Premier League side that we're going to go. Casemiro doesn't lose to Spurs in Europe, is what I was told. And Pop Sarr was the best. I mean, he was running all over the place. I thought he was putting up. He also, in reviewing old footage, he was also the one who gave the hairline fracture to Mason Mount. So he can body midfielders. And there's something there. There's been enough there that I'm like still intrigued. But I do agree. I'm getting to the point of like, I need a little bit more now. We need better. And I'm fine with him off the bench because I know that motherfucker will run up and down that pitch 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't like the whole charity bit. You could, I don't care. I'll be right back.
This is the last subject I want to cover before we end off. But I don't know how much longer y'all got. Y'all got 5-10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 5 minutes. I'll go head over to Jay after this.
Where you at afterwards? So I'll redirect.
The Hotspur Cave in. I got to head over there because we're about.
You doing some tomorrow's teachings or something?
Nah, Jay wants to react to some social commentary shit in it, so we'll be over there.
On your channel or?
No, it's on Jay's channel. It's on Jay's channel. Don't mind in it.
Jay from the cave.
Okay. I'll sort that out. But before you go, Elijah, if you don't mind.
Yo.
Could you just talk to me about this right here? This fucking Paulo Queef talking about, I can't even quote tweet his shit. This pussy blocked me, the fucking old bat. Because I said old man, or I did the Simpsons meme on him. You know, it's like old man yells at the clouds again. Because he just reminds me of this fucking bitter old man. Then you see him. Anyway, he said, literally today, before the news broke, he said the Kudus deal is not almost done. Nothing is completing this week either. Certainly not 2. And I looked at the original tweet, and it was like whoever it was deleted their comment, but I guess they were calling him out for, you know, this deal or what. I don't know, but the fall off is immense because
he's been shown to be a fraud at some point, because he does have some good information, but clearly his information isn't as good as he thinks, because he literally tweeted that like 2 hours before the news went live that the deal was done. And he's saying it's not almost... He does come across as one of the angry Levy out type of guys, purple and gold Twitter type of guys. Really, because he does have some good takes, and I think he can drop some good news and some little gems here and there. But away from that, a lot of his tweets are just angrily towards Tottenham, angrily towards the management, the way deals are done. He seems like maybe he was applied for a job one time and he was turned away, so now he's just on the hate. And
he does. That's what I'm saying. He just comes across like salty, like I'm better, like an elitist. I hate to put people into a box like that, but like he just comes across like I'm so superior. When I fart, you can't wait to smell it type of guy. Like, get the fuck out of here, you old bag of dick. I don't give a shit about you. I don't know you, Paulo Queeve. You don't even motherfucking Bill Nicholson photo hiding behind a fucking fake ass photo. Why don't you put your fucking dusty face on there with Joe?
I think he's gone on Last Word on Spurs a few times, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've seen his fucking shoe face looking leather ass motherfucker. I don't buy this like I'm an insider. I bet he knows the fucking chef in the kitchen cafeteria or fucking agent. That's all that ever. Like, there's a dude in American football named Adam Schefter, and he's like the biggest ITK. He's like the Fabrizio Romano of NFL. And this motherfucker, the only reason he got there was because he knew one of the agents that represented a company that represented like some of the biggest names in the sport at the time. And then once you get to a level, then people look for you to leak information to you, kind of a thing. And to me, I don't give a fuck who these...
And I know this is gonna turn into some like 5-10 minute rant.
I just need your thoughts on the Paulo Queeve fall off.
Fuck him and fuck his bloodline. All right, I need to go.
Okay, bye.
Take everyone in a bit, fam. Jay's spamming me, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, big up Paul G. Big up Sean. Yeah, people get it wrong. They're usually spot on, but if you're gonna be in the know, how you gonna be like, I'm in the I don't know, or just passing shit off as fucking fact when it's your assumption? It's almost like facts versus feelings, George, which is, I tried to do the facts over feelings and everyone scolded me for it. They said, Jacob, you're so mean. Why are you so mean? Hee, just jump on the train. Hee, Thomas Frank. But to me, why did Elijah text me? He just texted me, said, my bad. What do you mean, my bad? Bro, you were on the show for like an hour and a half. What the fuck? Anyway, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think there's still a chance that he could be right, though? That's my fear. Is like, what if he gets vindicated through all this?
If Ornstein's come out, Fabrizio's come out, apparently a medical
and Pletigal
tomorrow. That's the thing, and the medical's happening tomorrow. It's not like Kudus lives in London. He would be back in London anyway. It's not like he has to travel. He doesn't have to leave his house and move out or anywhere, like get a plane. He's obviously just gonna, take a trip down the road, go drive down to the Spurs lodge and go get his medical done. I think we'll see the pictures and the announcement probably on Friday. But no, I doubt there's gonna be any change.
Friday, right before the weekend kicks off, we could be looking.
Yeah. I think because we remember when we saw the Ange news. It was on the Friday. They kicked it off just before the weekend. Then we saw Frank news announced on the Friday officially. They're gonna do this announced on the Friday again. Spurs know exactly.
It was on the 2-week anniversary of the most beautiful parade I've ever seen in my life. But I'm over it, guys. Hee. We're all having fun here, guys. But in all genuine, like, the Kudus deal gets me fucking. Now I guess I'll sing along with the fucking rest of the troops in the bus, because for me, Kudus, I've almost sarcastically just been singing along as a sarcastic joke, but Kudus is a guy I've wanted for a long time. I think if we push on from Kudus, get one more at least of that level, and then another that can come in and potentially be a star, because you sign a surefire starter, that's a statement in my opinion. You sign an Archie Gray for 40, it's a lot of question marks. And I feel like we got enough question marks as it is. Kulu, I don't know what Frank sees him as. I know that Some people saw him as a right winger, and for Ainge, he worked better as a 10. We even tried him in the false 9 in the preseason. So, preseason, I'm starting to get excited again. George, I don't know about you. You've always been excited because you've been dealing out the content there, but you've always been excited for the next year coming up. I've been a little like, kind of Elijah about it, Eeyore, if you will.
Yeah.
But you got anything coming up on DuragDiaries you want to tell the people about? I know you got stuff like you pushing the content out and you're growing. At least people are showing the love. But if you haven't subscribed to DuragDiaries yet, please go over there right now. It's in the title of this video. You can't miss it.
Big up to everyone. Yeah, no. Going live tomorrow morning, 11:30. Probably gonna discuss more of this. Here we go. Maybe get some more news tomorrow. Maybe some exclusives from the medical. But away from that, just like you said, putting in the grind, releasing as much content as possible. Trying to talk on not just Spurs but every team. Trying to reach 3K. We're real close, like 240 away from 3K. So trying to get to that goal before the season starts, and then really push on to that 5K before the year ends. So yeah, man, big up to everyone for the support. Make sure you're smashing a like over here for sure. Boardroom talks, that'll be coming up soon as well. Sometime within the next week, we'll definitely be doing the boardroom talks. And yeah, big up to everyone, man, for sure.
Someone said check Fabrizio, and the last thing I see is an hour ago. Is there something I missed?
I see people always do this.
Yeah, I think I like to fuck with people like, check Fabrizio, breaking news. But he got me there. I put the link there in the chat, DuragDiaries. Make sure you subscribe to him. Also go subscribe to Too Much of E. And I'm going to be sending you on over, as we speak, to the Hotspur Cave, which is Jay, another friend of the channel. Even though he didn't fucking text me back, that motherfucker, but whatever. He can still catch a redirect. How about that? Harry Butler, you son of a bitch. He said, LOL. You got me. Congratulations. Because I was like, oh shit, Fabrizio, is there breaking news before we end off here? But anyway, go subscribe to Elijah, subscribe to everybody, and who cares? But main thing is, I can't wait for Kudus Day, whether it's tomorrow, Friday, hopefully Friday, because George said Friday. And I'm an ITK now because George is my source. He lives in England. So that's pretty damn close. Anyway, y'all, stay blessed, stay fresh, up the lads. Be kind to yourself and be kind to someone else.
Damn, I'm on my Britney shit. Oops, I hit again. Damn, I'm on my DJ Khaled shit. We the best. Damn, we roll.